is Sarah Brodie for the Toronto Art Therapy Institute. Psychodynamic issues in theory and practice. Art therapy, case example, number 13, the roots of empathy. So I've given you a link to this, the website of this program, rootsofempathy.org, and I recommend you just pull it up while I'm telling you this story. I worked for this organization for 5 years. I was one of their first instructors when they came into Quebec, and I taught their curriculum to elementary school classrooms between grades 1 and 5 lots of times. They have the curriculum between kindergarten and grade 8, and they have another program called Seeds of Empathy for preschoolers. And the principle of the program is radical. It's that a baby is a teacher of the class, and they bring in, and I would invite, and I found a volunteer of a parent and a child, a baby 2 to 4 months old in September, to come and visit the classroom all year long for the full first year, so that the baby is celebrating his or her first birthday as the class is finishing at the year end. And the children have the experience to witness this first year of life, and the curriculum is loaded with attachment theory, where they're teaching like kindergartners, grade 1s all the way up, attachment theory and neuroscience that underpins our understanding of empathy. But more importantly, they're leveraging the emotional connection that children naturally make into a baby as a way to encourage them to develop empathy for themselves and one another. And there's really tight research behind this, lots of long-term studies done through I think the University of Victoria. There's a lot of research on their website. It's clear that this program delivers a platform for these children to develop prosocial behaviors, and even their academic performance improves by having experienced the Roots of Empathy program for one school year. So it's getting a lot of ministry funding, and it's throughout Canada, and it's growing globally as well. So I wanted to bring it up not just as a wonderful example of applied attachment theory, but also because it's a really great platform for starting art therapists. They have a lot of art in their curriculum. I can share with you some of the art, but I think there's a lot up on their website too, that the children did in my classes, art that they gave to the baby and the family, and also that I submitted back to the Roots of Empathy organization as true feedback of what the children made of this curriculum. And I recommend you to look into it if you're I don't know where you're at in your degrees and where you're building art therapy into, but if you're starting out as much as I was when I was finishing my degree, this was a foot into the school system that became very meaningful for me, that became a door to job opportunities, to groups, and to having a very solid way of coming into a classroom where people are going to see you shine as you deliver this. And you'll get like nice reference letters. So check it out. I want to tell you about a story that happened when I was in a grade 3, sort of like a special ed class. And these were all kids with either behavioral or learning needs. And so a smaller class, but kids who had a number of them who had a lot of negative attention seeking behaviors that were going on, and were quite kind of stereotyped for being that student in the classroom. So when this baby would come in, it was always the case in all the classes that I taught, but especially in this one, that the people who were the most attention seeking through negative behaviors in the classroom were also the most attention seeking from the baby. And in this case, these children, one boy in particular stands out in having descended right down to the baby's eye level, like being right with his tummy on the floor, with his head up, with his eyes wide open and his face soft, and imploring this tiny little, maybe 5 or 6 month old infant to look at him. And the eye contact that he got just lit up both baby and boy. And all the class was beholding this very nurturing and lovely connection. And for me, it stood out as a way too that this boy, who's often in a kind of a triggering kind of role, is all of a sudden in this nurturing moment that gives him another way of being, and shows everybody, everybody's witnessing how he has this side also. So it was a really immediate transformation in that moment. I hope that comes across. Also, another boy in that same class, grade 3, these were first-time new parents who volunteered to come in once every 3 weeks into this classroom with this little baby, and they're new parents. And this 8-year-old boy in the class was chiding them about how amateur they were at changing diapers, and came in and did it for them. Kind of just was like, oh, people. And he just came up to the front of the mat. There was a great big green blanket where the parents sit at the front and all the children sit around the mat watching the baby play on the mat. And the boy came around. He couldn't take it. He sort of showed them how to change a diaper. So here's a kid who has been in a caregiving role at home, I'm sure. And I think I remember him being the older brother of twin babies. And he was able to be an expert in something that was really important, and that all of the children got to witness him being an expert, and in a class that's special ed, or for learning, with kids with learning disorders. They this would have been a really, I don't know, a strengthening, good thing to have happen again. And I just found this program was really loaded with these. There's some really great documentaries. I also, if you're curious, if this really catches your fancy like it did mine, you can watch. There's a lot of news coverage. There's lots of newspaper coverage too.